There's a passage in Kings chapter 17 that is famous, and in Byzantine iconography, you have a depiction of the prophet Elijah being fed by a raven, because the function is the same three consonants, Ain, Resh, Bet in Hebrew. But is it referring to a raven, which is one use of these three consonants, or is it referring to the people of the Arabian Peninsula? What is it referring to? Do you trust the translator? Do you? Or are you interested in hearing directly from the text, directly from God, what he said in his Semitic consonantal speech? Let the reader, not the person who's opening a book from a printing press, that's not the reader. Let the reader, the one who is announcing the text to the assembly, be warned, beware. You had better study before you stand up to announce this, because if you mess up, you're messing up for everybody who hears what is being read. Let the reader beware. Because to read in Semitic languages is to interpret. How do you vocalize these consonants? So the point that I want to make about precision with respect to Ain, Resh, Bet is that in these first three examples from Genesis, Exodus, and Ezekiel, there are many examples where this root functions as evening in the text. There is no word in Hebrew for twilight. And there's a word in English for twilight. We have a word to mark twilight versus evening. But in Hebrew, there is morning and there is evening. Sometimes it's translated as dusk in English translations. Sometimes it's translated as evening. Of course, you have, unfortunately, because of the nature of translations, sometimes to make the text sound good, they'll render it as twilight. But in the original consonantal Hebrew of the Bible, there is no word for twilight. There is a morning and there is an evening. This is not something to be trifled with. Because in the text of the Bible, there is no gray area. There is good and there is evil in the sight of the Lord. There is dawn and there is dusk and there is one judge. It's literature. It's not a debate about the gradation of light between dawn and dusk. It's literature. There is no twilight in biblical Hebrew, which is a literary concoction. So one cannot be sloppy, because biblical Hebrew is not the same as spoken Arabic, or what you may find in the extant Semitic languages in the classical world or the ancient world. Biblical Hebrew is biblical Hebrew, and in biblical Hebrew, there is no word for twilight. There is only this very interesting function, which in one of its uses indicates evening or dusk. So precision is paramount. Precision.